Hi and welcome to our program. Today we're going to learn more about the dark creatures of Christmas. So let's talk to Matt Kemp from Mosaik Museum about ancient European Christmas myths and these mysterious creatures. Follow me. So what are these dark creatures of Christmas?
Well, the dark creatures of Christmas are a bunch of folkloristic, creatures from all over Europe that we bring to life each Christmas here at Mosaik Museum. And we have 11 of them this year. And they are mainly from Northern Europe and Eastern Europe, with a few dark horses in there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And they stem from some of them are very old in both folklore and belief systems from ancient times. Some of them are quite new, or at least had their their period recently. Some of them are still in use, some of them not so much. And they all share a dichotomy between light and darkness. Some of them are here to warn us about all the darkness, or at least remind us that not everything is peaches and cream, and not everything is like a big, bright red Santa Claus, Coca-Cola Santa Claus. That's not exactly what life is about. You can't just put joy into everything and just ignore the pain and the darkness. These creatures, most of them, remind us that pain is a part of life, and especially in these dark winter months, that it's necessary to embrace that as well, and take that in as a fact of life. Yeah.
And is that why you decided to bring these creatures back to life, like more recently?
Well, mainly that, and also because we wanted to reinvigorate them with life. And all these are anthropological and ethnographical things that we also do at the museum, but we could bring them to life and make people see them like we imagine them, and make the whole experience of coming here these 4 Saturdays unique and something completely different from what you would be doing on a regular Saturday during Christmas time. So that was the reason to do it, to attract, of course, some audience, but also to give them this unique experience of watching them and seeing them in real life. Yeah.
Perfect. Then let's get to know them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, we can start anywhere, really. They are hodgepodge of a lot of things, and from different places in Europe. But we could start here.
What about this one?
This is actually maybe the most, not recent, but the most celebrated of our, especially here in Denmark and in Sweden. This is the coat or dress of Lucia, the saint who famously gouged her eyes out. We have one of her eyes here. she gouged them out of her own skull because a Roman was very interested in her and very infatuated with her, but she had devoted her life to God, and she couldn't have that all these Roman soldiers and generals, they all wanted her. So to make her less appealing, she blinded herself. And she's the saint of light and the saint of the blind. Her name is associated with Lucifer, who was also the Lightbringer, and and that's how we use her today as well. When we celebrate Lucia Day at the 13th of December, it is to bring light into this dark time. And also there's a bit of kerfuffle because though she stems from Sicily, she is mainly celebrated in Sweden and Denmark.
Yeah. And why is that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's because if we go further back, we had something, especially in Sweden, called Lucy Night, which had nothing to do with this. This was in pagan times, but some of the things are quite similar. At Lucy Night, you would sit around all night. It was the longest night, the 21st of December. The longest night you would sit in darkness with only one candle, and you had to sit there the whole night and watch everybody in the household and watch the candle burn. If the candle went out, or if you failed to clean your house, and if not everything was in order, Lucy would come, which was this witch figure, and she would take mainly virgins, and she would molest them or eat them. Okay. So you had to have this light ready, and you would sit around this. Yeah. And that was the 21st of December. Okay. And somehow, when we were Christianized, we saw that there was something similar here with Saint Lucia, and incorporated that into it. Now, she's of course celebrated on the 13th of December, which is really weird. But that was because we went to the Gregorian calendar instead of the Julianic. So there's a discrepancy of 8 to 10 days, which fits quite well, actually. So they're connected in a way, and we have another creature that's also connected to Lucia, two actually. Two of the older ones also. Yeah. So she's really interesting, and a lot of stories about her and what she did to herself to stave away the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit extreme.
Yeah, maybe a little extreme. Yeah. We can continue on this way.
Yes, perfect.
And I can take this bright, bright star, and now we are in Russia. Well, in Russia, they have Ded Moroz, which is, Ded Moroz is, the Russian equivalent to Father Christmas. And he brings light as well. He usually comes in January, and he's not red, he's blue, because he's Father Frost. He comes with winter, and he freezes over the entire north of Russia, which is a good thing, we are led to believe. He holds this shining star, which is actually a cross between a star and a snowflake, often. And he's a patron of all the good kids, which is important because you have to be polite if you meet him. If he asks you if you're cold, you have to say, oh no, not at all, dear Father Frost, no, not at all. I'm not cold, I'm perfectly fine, the weather is very comfortable. Then he, if you've been behaving well for the past year, he will give you a gift, often a fur coat or something like that.
Okay. What happens if you say that you're cold?
Well, then he freezes you with his frosty breath, and you will stand there as a statue. But he also helps the good children against the evil witch Baba Yaga, not only at winter time, Christmas time, but all year round. Yeah. And
what does that witch do?
Well, she has an appetite for chaos and children. So she flies around in her big mortar. She lives in a hut on chicken legs. It's very weird, but she lives there and she flies out in a mortar and she deceives children and she captures them. But the good children can then ask Father Frost or Dad Moros if he would want to help them. And then he would, help them, fly around with the children and help them. Yeah. So, And often he comes in great parades and hands out presents to the Russian kids. In
and it's only
early January. Mainly Russia, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's quite the stately man. He's a tall guy with a lengthy beard. He looks very much like Father Christmas, actually, but blue. Well, these two are actually connected, so they're two different. So, and I think I'll go first with this one. This is the staff, the Lightbringer staff of Guiastor.
They really like sticks.
They really like sticks. That's an old sign of, importance and regality, that you bear a staff, or a herdsman, that you're gathering your flock. Which is also what they do. This is the Lightbringer staff of Guiastor, and he comes with bells, as you can hear.
Why is that?
Well, he has to summon all the people in the Polish, in Poland. This is his face. This is how he looks, of bark and wood and straw. And well, as I said, he's the Lightbringer. He comes around to people's houses during the darkest winter times to remind people that the light will come back. And he doesn't say anything, mostly. He hands out small presents, and he comes in what they call a collider. And the collider is like, it's like in Britain, where they go caroling, so they go around and sing to each other. It's practically the same thing, just Polish, with these figures, with Guiastor, and you sing to bring the light back, or bring the hope of getting the light back.
Why does it look so scary then, if it's supposed to represent something good?
Well, he's also fertility or harvest god, and even though his straws are very dry and he's, well, a bit dead, he actually comes to remind us that the last period of winter we have to save up the rest of our food, and so that we don't eat it all before winter is over. And this is why he's a bit dry. And he looks very scary, but he's actually a very nice guy, in contrast to most of the other creatures we have
So
here.
he doesn't do anything to the bad kids?
No, not really.
Okay.
But he hasn't got that kind of evil in him. But if you don't honor him or you don't see him, then the light may never come back. So you have to be nice to the people in the collider who are singing to you, and give them wine and stuff like that. See if he can stand here. Yeah. Following him is this he's so heavy.
Hi.
Very, very nice looking creature. This is Turon. He's a bull.
From wood?
He's made of wood here and something called wobbler. He is a very gentle bull.
Really?
He's very, very, well, you can see that he's very, very thin. He hadn't got a lot of to eat, and that is why he can never fall down or fall asleep. You have to keep him alive, and you do that by giving him presents. If he's about to fall down, you have to give him a present. Something to eat, preferably. In the olden days, it was apples and, other kinds of food. Nowadays, if he comes around, it's more vodka and cigarettes.
How the priorities change.
Yeah, priorities change, but he's there to remind you that you have to look after your your livestock, and see to it that they don't, that you have enough food for them. Okay. And he walks around with Guiastor, and then he gets presents. Yeah, and he's a very nice guy, but a bit slow, and a bit because he's so hungry all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another one that looks very scary, but it's actually a nice guy.
Yeah.
Why does this keep happening? Why are you so scary?
I think it's more that we find him scary, but it's also that in olden days in Poland, you would have to be reminded quite fiercely that you have to look after your livestock. It's not a joking matter. You can't slag off or anything. You really have to care for them. Otherwise, they'll end up like this, and they will haunt you. If he falls over and falls asleep, spring will never come.
And there's no
so
way.
So it's quite serious.
Yeah. So there's no going back from that. Like if he falls, he falls.
Or maybe you can get very lucky, and you can like force feed him some vodka or something. I don't know. And he might get up again. But yeah. So that's his role, and he looks like a rider of the apocalypse or something, but it really isn't. But there to remind us that we have to be good to the animals.
That's a nice message, actually.
Yeah,
I thought it was something creepy when I saw that.
I'll just see if I can get it back here without destroying anything. Like this, yeah. if we move on, maybe we should take that as the last thing. Let's go here. This furry thing, I'll take his head out here. As you might be able to tell, this is a cat.
Yes.
And what does a cat have to do with Christmas? Well, in Iceland, they have Julekatten, Christmas cat. And well, the Christmas cat, it sounds very jolly and fun, but let me assure you, Julekatten is not fun at all. He's as tall as a mountain, and he's as ferocious as a saber-toothed tiger or something like that. In Iceland, they take Christmas very seriously. And there are quite a few monsters and gnomes of Christmas. There are 13 gnomes of Christmas who all are there to remind, especially children, to behave, to eat all their food. Otherwise, they will get you, these gnomes or Julekatten, and they will carry you home to their master, who's called Julens. And Julens is a three-headed monster witch lady, as tall as a building, and she delights in eating children. So you don't want to get caught. What this Julekatten, what his specialty is to look after if you receive soft packages, soft gifts, like sweaters and socks. And that you appreciate them, that you don't throw them away or anything like that. If the cat senses that you're not happy to receive a nice Icelandic sweater again this year, well, then he'll get you. Because, well, in older times, children had to, work more, and in Iceland it was one of their jobs to hold the wool and spin it and get everything ready so that they could knit these sweaters. So it's very important that they help and
they appreciate it.
That they appreciate all the hard work that
this
they
is so specific.
Yeah.
And it looks so terrifying, and then it's about soft gifts.
Yeah. But well, in Iceland, it's very specific. The 13 gnomes have their own very distinct things to do. Someone like the meat hook and the candle eater, and that you have to help during the winter months to, well, keep the house and make everything ready. So that's what Julekatten is there for, and he's very good at hiding. So you never know, even though he's as tall as a mountain, he could be anywhere.
Scary.
Yeah, very scary. Yeah, but not as scary as the next one. This is perhaps the most scary. This is Krampus.
Yeah, this one is a more known one.
Yeah,
right?
This is one of the more known ones in recent years, actually. It's a pagan, not a god, but a spirit of the mountains, of the Alps. And during the very dark years of Catholicism and also the Nazi years in Germany and Austria, they tried to, make him go away, in a sense, make him extinct. But
what did they do?
Well, everything that had to do with Krampus was shunned and put away, and you could get fines for doing anything like that because it was paganism. But today he has seen a reflourishment. He's really popular now, and there are movies about him. He is this massive beast, and in Austria especially. On the 5th of December, on Krampusnacht, people are in the streets and then they can hear his bells, here. They can hear the bells from afar, and then it means that you have to go inside now. Because the Krampus run will appear now, and it's maybe 20, 40, 50, 100 young men or women now dressed up as Krampus, and they will ravage the streets. They will just come running through and destroying everything, beating people, yeah. And of course, it would be nice if, well, it's just for fun, but they're often really, really drunk. So,
so you're talking about what happens now?
Yeah,
like
so they will come running through the streets, and if you're out in the street, you will get beaten.
How is this socially acceptable?
Slapped. Well, it's your own fault. You were outside. So he's this terror of the mountains. He's there to remind us that it's really, really dangerous to go out in the mountains, especially when it's nighttime and in this dark period of the year. But he's also a kind of fertility spirit. If he catches children, he will take them in his back and carry them to his lair and eat them, perhaps. If he catches, if a young woman or an old lady, for that matter, stands in her doorway, he will come up to her, turn her around, pull her dress down, and then he will spank her. And that's supposed to make her fertile so she can have children. Yeah,
I'm sure that's the trick.
That's the way it goes, So he's also a fertility god, and maybe that's the main reason why he was shunned so and tried to be, well, put down essentially. But now he has seen this resurgence, and he's a very, very cool character, and also very strangely erotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Krampus. Yeah, celebrated one of our favorites here as well. Everybody wants to see Krampus.
Yeah, it's the scariest one.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying with us. We hope you enjoyed this Dark Creatures of Christmas explanation as much as we did. See you next time.